All right. Yep. There we go. I'm live. It's weird. It's the interface has changed a little bit, and it's hard for me to sometimes see the buttons when I've got the font so big so I can read it from a distance. So you don't see me way up here trying to look at the schedules. There we go. Kathy C is here. Love it. Thank you for making the leap over from TikTok. Not everybody does that. Some people are afraid to. So yay for your braveness. Okay. McDoug's in Tampa is here. Hope you get some good weather there. Kelly Smith, USC 595. Notice that people here, hey, there we go. Preservation Haven with your little plant. Awesome. Awesome. So notice we're shifting gears. It's the same place. I haven't moved except my doing this from my laptop versus my phone. My phone that I'm going to now plug in. And I'm just, as people are tuning in, you can see and hear me, right? Give me a something in the chat that lets me know that you can see and hear me. That would be great. I want to just make sure that I haven't missed any important messages here. Um, uh, Cape Cod Potato Chip Factory to close, ending production in Massachusetts. Woo! All right, good. I'm glad you can see and hear me. And let me start to I'm going to start to download the TikTok live that we just started. But then we're going to get into I want to riff on, I would say with your permission, but it seems to be something that people were saying, "Oh yeah, me too" type of things, which is wastefulness. Okay. All righty. So Judy Dukes says, daily decluttering, like you were just mentioning, is what I really need to work on. So Judy Duke, the thing you want to get better at, daily decluttering. Okay. So this is a great thing. And I know, Judy, trust me. Okay. This says my connection is unstable. I don't know what that means, but hopefully. But what I will say to this is, Judy, I know from talking with you that you struggle with a habit tracker. I will tell you though, practice this month. It's the shortest month of the year. Next month, just practice using a habit tracker. Put one habit on it, the only one. Start small, chunk it down, and put daily declutter 10 minutes and practice doing something different, not telling yourself, I'm no good at that. Try it again. Practice will make you get better. Okay. Yep. So notice and also write down, Judy, what can I do? I say, notice, I work on, so this is a couple, there's some fun things that you have put into your description here. I declutter. Notice this. I notice that I declutter. When I declutter and then wait a couple of days, the stuff builds up and then it takes forever to declutter again. So chunking it down. Even today, right now, Judy Dukes, with your notebook, chunking it, writing down and chunking it down. Oh, is this today? It says 1/20/2026. I probably hit the wrong button. Yes, I'm a horrible typist. So yes, Garden Girl, Kara, it's us. It's the 30th, not the 20th. I will change it when it goes live. I think I would have to. Can I edit it from here? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's a 20. Let me see if I can do it on the fly here. 1/30/26. There we go. Change is saved. Thank you for pointing that out. I might have missed that. Okay. So chunking it down, recommitting, trying to start something. If what you've tried to start before in your life hasn't worked, chunk it down to the single step. Okay. Yeah. Chunk it down from a step. Okay. So, couple of things, and then I promised we would jump into wastefulness, so we will do that. Okay. Laura Voorhees is noticing, wow, this bin of sentimental stuff is hitting hard. Boom. Notice that word. It's hitting you hard. It's hitting you in the feels. But then you're saying, but it's okay. Notice, it's okay is a calming down of your nervous system phrase. It's okay. It's bitter and sweet. Notice, it's bitter, it's sweet. There's a little bit of both. I can pull out books to create a category. I can start with something that feels doable. Yay, Laura Voorhees. But notice, even we professionals, even we people who've been decluttering for a while, especially because we tend to let the sentimental stuff wait until later on in the process, we can still get hit in the feels and it can be a surprise. Even if we expect it, our human bodies react in a way that sometimes surprise us, and we live in this body. Yeah. Now, I love it. Erica says, came over from TikTok. Welcome. Anybody else who happens to be here on YouTube, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered, just like a road trip, okay? Needed this boost day. I just hired a professional organizer. Awesome. Now I feel like I can need to organize before the organizer, and you do. You do. It's like cleaning before the cleaners, because there are some things that a professional organizer is going to come in with an approach of organizing. But what they do not know is the stuff that only you know, which is the decluttering, which is what is important to you and what is not important to you. That's why, to me, decluttering always helps before organizing. Now, if you have a good professional organizer, they hopefully will walk you through some things to think about and talk about and write down and feel about what you want and what you don't, but they cannot make that decision for you. If they do, chaos will ensue. So getting used to the fact that my participation is deciding what I want and what I don't want. And then with the stuff that I do want, that person can help me organize it in a way that makes my life easier. So Erica, you're in good company, okay? But I want to make sure I mention wastefulness, okay? So on our TikTok Live, a number of people had said, yes, I have a thought that causes a feeling around being wasteful. And I don't understand this, because part of me says it doesn't work, I should throw it away, you know? But part of me is like, no, you can't, because that's wasteful. Now, I personally and professionally truly believe that a lot of our clutter thoughts that cause our clutter feelings are inherited by the people who raised us. Now, I say this personally because I'm Gen X. I was raised by the silent generation, who was raised by the Great Depression era people who did not have a lot, and even then they had even less. So at that time in their lives, in the history of our country, it was very important not to waste anything, because there was a legitimate fear of, if you wasted it, you could not get it back. That was a temporary point in our lives, in their history, but those temporary things can leave lasting habits, scars, okay? And notice where it can show up even when there's no legitimate fear of being with lack. But there is still some judgment in you. Somebody else is going to think that I am wasteful. I'm going to get in trouble with somebody else for wasting this thing that could be good for somebody else. Yes, and Kathy C., it's the sunk cost fallacy. You've already spent your money on it, and yet money and wastefulness are two things that trip up even the most clear-eyed person, because you have deeper embedded feelings about what it means to waste money, to throw away something good. Okay? Yep. Yeah, preservations. Yeah, it didn't start with you. It can be in our DNA. So if that's the case, we can also change that. We can be the shift in our family DNA to shift that from that to something else. Why the hell not? So I say to you, to me, when you have thoughts, okay, and this is, again, making sure you feel okay physically, nervous system, writing down and chunking down things into two categories. Folding a piece of paper in half, okay? I would put wasting money, wasting good stuff as things that make it more difficult to declutter. That was a That was a list we were doing. Doesn't work for me to declutter. When I start to think of that I'm being wasteful, stops me from letting go of things and keeps me hanging on. Okay, yeah, that's the battle, but it doesn't even need to be a battle. It can be a discussion. It ends up being, initially, it becomes the tug of war. It is a battle, winners and losers. Sometimes this one wins and you keep the stuff, even though part of you doesn't want it. And other times you may have decluttered when you later might regret it. So I say, let's lower the stakes. Let's calm down the nervous system and not make it a battle at all. Let's sit there and have a convo. All right? Have a conversation with yourself. That is really what these two columns are, is the fear of being judged. And then instead of feeling fearful because it stops you, what can I more lovingly say to myself to encourage me to do the thing that feels good? Okay. So notice you will have feelings about stuff that you might be able to attach a thought to. I get why this is making me feel bad. But if your thoughts and feelings cause you to stop, you're going to stay stuck as long as you continue to think and feel that way. I show up to help you uncover that. So wastefulness, first of all, everything in life. I worked with this with a client yesterday. Anything that has come into your house, you have allowed to come into your house. And let's just play the green route right now. Items that you see outside of your house, that when you see it out there, whether you're at the store or in TikTok shop or scrolling on the internet, you see something and part of your brain goes, hey, that may make my life better, easier, more colorful, more enjoyable. Hey, I think I have an idea that that thing may help me. Okay, so you bring in that item, but then you have to experiment with it. Will it fulfill the promise you hope it does? Sometimes it does, and you're like, yay, this is awesome. Many times, though, things do not work out the way we hope they will. When you discover that, please note that hanging on to something that doesn't work will not suddenly make it work for you in the future. Getting comfortable with that idea of hanging on to it does not change how this works for me. And getting comfortable with that. It's okay that this didn't work out. So maybe what you do is you research things a little bit further before you buy them, or you buy them and notice what the return policy is, or you get comfortable, if the thing is good but it's not for you, donating it someplace where it could be good for somebody else. And also, this is going to be the tough one, getting more comfortable. Notice comfort, feeling more okay with throwing things in the trash that won't be good for anybody. Okay? So notice this. There is a process that causes your thoughts and feelings to be triggered. And when thoughts and feelings are saying no, you're going to hang on to stuff. So let's get them to say yes, or at least get into neutral. Okay? Right. Erica, I get this. So notice Erica's saying, yeah, I get where I'm coming from. My mom is like this, right? Wastefulness. My mom for sure from that era, and that's some of it. But I also have so much guilty about how much goes into landfills. This is going to sound harsh, but I mean it to be very clear. Your stuff is going to go in a landfill sooner or later. At a certain point, when you die, somebody is going to take your stuff and put it somewhere else, and somewhere else may be a landfill. So, Erica, right now, if you think about it, you are allowing your life to be filled with things that are worthy of a landfill. And I will say this, I am all about personal accountability. I am. However, looking at the bigger picture, you putting a few items from your home in the trash is a speck compared to some of these giant corporations across the globe that are doing more damage to our system than your one bag of trash. Okay, so notice the difference. Sometimes we can all make a difference, so do it when you can, but even the best of us create waste. So, how can I eliminate that? How can I learn from this and reduce it, but also forgive myself when I say, yep, it's going in the trash? Because other than that, you're going to start to, your house will become filled with trash. People who have that extreme hoarding tendency and want to try to save the world end up often creating more of a biohazard because they don't take the trash out regularly. Okay. Mm-hmm. There we go. Patty is noticing I don't need every specialty item. A juice glass, a water glass, a rocks glass. I can drink out of any of those. Right. Juice goes in a glass, water goes in a glass. A Mai Tai can go in the same glass. And the glass doesn't even need to be glass, it can be plastic. So notice, do I need all these specific things? And a lot of times, we as a society are told, oh, you can't drink that out of that. You need the right glass. You're being judged. As long as you don't worry about if you're not hanging around with judgy people, it doesn't really matter. But notice where it will trip you up. Okay? So wastefulness. Is it a waste to have learned about yourself that you don't need that item? No. You will learn a valuable lesson. Okay? Preservation Haven is saying, I bought a yogurt maker and a deep fryer from TikTok because notice, ooh, that looks good. Oh, I could do that. Oh, that could make my life better. I bought it. Then when I get it, I already have a crock pot for yogurt and a cast iron kettle to deep fry. I already have enough. Yeah. Luckily, you were able to return them. Okay. Luckily, you were able to return them. So you feel good. Yay. I noticed before I bought something, if it doesn't work out, because that is a good question to ask yourself before you bring anything in. If you're afraid of wasting it, okay, there is a 50%, if not greater chance that this thing will not work out for me. So let's make a plan, not just for if it works, but what if it doesn't work either in the short term or in the long term? What is my plan? I can return it within 30 days with the receipt. Yay, that won't be a waste. I can, if it still works, but it's just not something I use often, I can find a place where I donate the items that don't work for me so that somebody else can experiment with yogurt making or frying. And maybe they couldn't afford to spend full price on it, so they go to a secondhand store to get it. All right. So, yes, and Erica, if it's a good reminder, this is where I say, write this down. I cannot solve the issue all by my little self. It is okay for me to throw away some things that cannot be returned or sold or given away to somebody. Just because you don't want it doesn't mean that it's useless to nobody. But, like, for example, you may have bought a giant thing of garlic salt because that's the garlic salt you like, but you happen to be, for some reason, at Costco and you have 2 pounds of it. And then you notice that it's open, but you've only used that much. Now, that isn't something, because it's a food item and it's open, that wouldn't be a good thing to donate someplace else. So that may be something that you even, dump out the salt and recycle the plastic. At least that's something. Okay. So, yeah. And yeah, notice Preservation Haven, checking with yourself before you buy anything, disrupting that kind of, and trust me, marketing is there to make you feel like you don't have something and you need to buy their product in order to feel fulfilled and better. But before you do that, just ask yourself, could I achieve that result using what I already have in my home? Do I really need a tiki mug from all the tiki places that you go to? Maybe, maybe not. Could I drink a tiki mug from a preserves jar or a coffee cup or whatever. Yeah. So notice when you disrupt that Pavlovian response for, ooh, that looks like fun. Oh, I like that. Stop yourself. And if you're afraid of being wasteful, say, wait a minute. What if this doesn't work out for me? How can I ensure that there's a plan in place that I won't end up feeling wasteful if this doesn't work out for me? Okay. Yeah, Patty is saying, I bought a homemade yogurt maker after my trip to Ireland. I loved their homemade yogurt. Interesting. It tasted great, but I found I'm not that invested. I stored it for about a year thinking I was going to become a homemade yogurt maker. I am not that homemade yogurt maker. I stored it for a year hoping that I would change into a homemade yogurt maker, but I'm not. And then I finally donated it. So this is another thing about being okay with who you are. I cannot tell you how many times in the past 21 years now in this house that I have tried to become a gardener, an herb gardener, a tomato gardener. It does not work with the life that I live and the life that I want to live. So I, instead of beating myself up for not being a green thumb like Kara, I have become comfortable with being a person who travels a lot, who is out of the house and has flexibility and who likes to say yes to opportunities, which means that I may not be around regularly watering my plants or regularly tending to them. That is okay for me now. So even when I go to the store, I may smell the basil. But do I buy the plant? No, I probably buy the stuff that's, in the produce aisle. Being okay with who you are and not trying to force yourself to be something you're not. Yeah. And I love it. Preservation Haven. I have a table in my driveway to set my stuff on I'm parting with. People in my neighborhood have so far needed what I put out. Notice you have a place. We were talking about this last night at a neighborhood thing. My husband and I have a giant sign we made that says free. And it sticks in our well, out there is now snow, sticks in our lawn because we live on a corner. And anytime we have something that we don't want, we will put it out there for free. Not all of it, like some stuff we donate other places, but big bulky items. And inevitably somebody will come pick it up. Okay. Yes. Now notice this, Kathy is saying, I cannot begin to list the specialty appliances I have purchased and are sitting in their boxes after being used once and now taking up valuable closet space. Kathy, I'm going to help you with this. You can. Notice you're telling yourself you can't do something. Kathy, I think this would be fun. Practice doing the opposite and notice how it feels. Begin to list the specialty appliances you have purchased that are sitting in their boxes in the closet. Okay? Make a list for yourself. And then you can do something different about it. Yeah, they're now taking up the valuable closet space because I couldn't in the past toss the box. Okay. Okay. So notice this, Kathy. You are noticing about yourself. Hey, I thought I was going to do this. And then suddenly I get the thing and I'm like, what am I talking about? I can find a restaurant and go with friends instead. And that sounds like more fun than doing a hot pot at my house. Okay. You've learned something about yourself. Your investment in that thing that's interesting to you means that you're interested in something, but not necessarily that part of it. I don't want to create it. I just want to eat it. Kara likes to grow the stuff, but she doesn't want to cook it. So Kathy, I highly recommend let's right now stop the story of I can't and start the story of I can do this. So I say to you, 3 is a magic number. So Kathy, right now in a notebook, in a piece of paper at your house, before you write the list in the comments here, write it for yourself on a piece of paper. If it means that you walk to that closet and you open it up and you just take inventory, do that. We're here for another 30 plus minutes. Right now can be a time where you just start to do something else and you've got accountability and support and friendliness, and we're here for you. So everybody who says they can't, you can start right now by saying I can. And a very easy thing to do, make sure you feel good physically. Your nervous system is like, yes, I can experiment with this. I've got some support because I wasn't able to do it by myself. I let it pile up when I was by myself. Now I've got Beth and this cool crew. I can go and open up that door to the closet. I can quiet down the judgy voices, and all I'm doing is going to write down these things. And then let me know when you've got your list. Okay. I'm with you. Okay. You can do this. All righty. Now, Kara says, I would like to be someone, notice aspirational, someone who loves to cook, but I'm not. Yeah. I'd rather be who I am now, and I'd rather be in the garden or listing stuff to sell. Right. So notice there's an aspirational quality of this is the kind of person I want to be. And sometimes that is a difference from who you are. Now, that can encourage you maybe to do some things to become that person, or you can learn to be comfortable with who you are. I myself am not interested in cooking. I'm interested in eating. I am not interested in keeping plants alive because I feel bad. As who was it? Patty says, plants come to my house to die. I have dreams of a kitchen garden, but I know better because the life that I'm living now does not make that so. Now, it may change. Maybe when I'm in my 70s and 80s and I'm not traveling as much as I do want to now. But to me, it's more important for me to have clarity. Oh, notice. Yeah, if plants come to my house to die, I don't want plants to die. So I don't bring plants in anymore. Recently, we had one plant left in this house. Actually, one that's almost like an air plant that isn't dying yet. So yay. It can be neglected and it's still hanging on. We had a giant kind of palm tree. I don't even know what its name was. Dragon plant or something. And I was feeling bad for it. Despite our lack of care, it was doing okay, but it wasn't doing great. It was in a small pot. And even if it was small, it was almost hitting the ceiling. And I knew that long term, hanging out with us, we were not the best plant parents. Now, so what I did was I started looking for a good home. I started noticing people who are good with plants. And lo and behold, there's a shop that opened a couple of blocks from my house where this awesome young woman is selling plants. She has a green thumb. I went into her shop and the ceilings there are like, retail. So it's like 14, 15, 20 feet in the air. And I said to her, hey, I see you are a good plant mom. I am a good plant aunt, but I know in the long term, this plant deserves a better life than I can give it. Would you like this plant? And she said, oh my God, of course. And she came to pick it up last week. And now I no longer have to worry about killing it. And I can think of it having a good life outside of our home. Okay. Yeah. So notice Preservation Haven is saying, moving forward to change that notion of being wasteful, moving forward, notice you're making a different plan. If I'm looking at the thing because I saw it on social media, that is going to be a red flag. But notice a red flag can just be there to stop you like a stop sign, to interrupt the automatic flow of traffic. When you stop and consider it, you can make a more informed decision about, do I truly want this? And you can also give yourself a cooling off period. I think I want this week. Let me wait until next week to see if I still want it or have I changed my mind. I have found things on social media that have improved my life. I have found other things on social media that have not. So it's a crapshoot. But notice where marketing might be encouraging you to buy now because it's almost gone, that feeling of lack. That is a ploy to get you to part with your money before you've decided to make a good decision that feels good. Does it feel good to be reacting to almost gone? We only have a few left. Everybody else is doing it. Don't be a sucker for marketing. Be in control of your decisions and feel good about it. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Kathy, juicer, bread maker, Instapot. Juice takes $20 worth of fruit. So notice it didn't work out for you. My bread was a disaster. Don't need Instapot because I'm a great regular cook. Yeah. Yep. Notice Preservation Haven is also alerting the red flag guy. The feeling of, I need this now. Slowing down. If you really need it and want it, sometimes you do need things right now. I need the antidote to my headache. Other things, I can wait. I can be patient and trust that everything I want and need will come to me at the right time. Okay. Ooh, I love this. Leslie is saying, I put them in a cart with a 24-hour cooling off period. It really reduces what I end up getting. I love it. Okay, so Kathy, let's get back to you with your list. Juicer, bread maker, Instapot. 3 things that you brought into your life thinking it would be great and learned that it doesn't. Are they in good enough condition that you can donate them somewhere? Could there be somebody who wants to make something in an Instapot or a juicer or a bread maker in your area that you don't even know yet? Okay. So are they clean? You said you still have the boxes. Where is an easy place for you to donate items in your neighborhood? Notice what I said to Kathy, but I'm saying to everybody. What's the answer for you? What is an easy place for me to donate the things that I no longer want, but that still have value? Right. So, Kathy, notice this. I feel like I can let them go today. Okay, so let's get even more curious about that. That's a good feeling. Yay for that feeling. How does it feel? Where do you feel that feeling of I feel okay? Is it in your toes? Is it in your head? Is there a thought? I say this to you because notice that good feeling so that we can set up things to replicate it in the future. Okay? Mm-hmm. So notice this. Notice where you feel better. Okay. Not being wasteful. Quieting down the wasteful. Shh. I feel okay now. And notice where my hand goes. When I feel okay, it tends to be in my torso right here. Right? Yep. There we go. Kathy is saying, yep, they're still in boxes. Yes, pristine. We have a charity shop that the proceeds go to family services. Notice how important it is to find a place that's easy for you to donate, both in terms of location and hours, but that you feel good about what they do with your stuff. So, Kathy, that charity shop, you know it exists. This is where we start to kind of get that idea from the cloud and we bring it into the practical. And to me, the practical is your calendar. So, okay, I'm not sure where I feel it. How about right here? Just I feel okay. Just notice the next time when you don't feel okay, where do you feel it? Sometimes it's the same place. I feel all tight and constricted and I don't know what to do. Or in the same place, I can feel relaxed. Okay. There's no right or wrong answers, but just get curious that it is a feeling. And what I would say too, Kathy, is this. I betcha there is a different thought in your head now that is working with that feeling of okay. I feel okay to let this go now because I'm not judging myself. I'm not beating myself up. I'm being kind and curious. I have support. I'm not alone in these things working out. It's not a failure that this thing didn't work out for me. Notice the difference in thinking negatively, feeling negatively, doing, hanging on. Let's flip it to the second side, on the other side, on the flip side. Thinking more kindly, feeling more kindly, doing more kindly. Okay. So I would say this, if you're feeling good about it, let's harness that feel good and take the next step. So the next step, this is going to be chunking it down. It would be, you've got your list and you'd say, donate these following items to that place. And then let's attach some numbers to it. A date. Today, could you go there? Do you know their hours? Today, tomorrow, the next day? Within the next 3 days, I will donate those items to the place. In order for me to do that, I probably need to Google and see what time they're open and they accept donations. Notice that Googling a place and seeing when they're open is a step in the right direction. Not all of the decluttering is by the physical stuff. Some of it is research. Okay? Yeah. Now, Lori is saying, back to the kind of the red flag, I got scammed. A necklace girl holding cat was like a Cracker Jack toy. Said going out of business. Yes, notice that fear of missing out. The fear of paying more for something than you want to. The fear of missing a deal, even if you don't need the item. Fear will keep you doing things that if you weren't in a fear mode, you could make a different decision. Okay? All righty. Preservation Haven is saying, I think when I have waited a long time before a purchase to make sure I really need it, it's a better experience than had I impulse purchased it. There's more gratitude and appreciation. So Preservation Haven, you wrote that to share it with us. Do not forget to share that with yourself. Hang it up above where you tend to make impulse purchases. To say to yourself, waiting a long time before making a purchase is a better experience because I have more gratitude and appreciation. Trusting, not being in fear, but trusting that if you want it now, you'll want it later. And if you don't, then you've not become wasteful because you haven't bought something that you're like, you know what? I really don't need that. Okay. Write these things to yourself. Write your notes to yourself and put them where you can remind yourself of the insight you're learning so you don't feel wasteful about, notice, impulse purchase increases the likelihood of wastefulness. You know? Yeah. Now, isn't this a neat thing? Preservation Haven is already talking to herself, as we all should. I told myself just yesterday, I don't understand my neurodivergence as I'm collecting this clutter. I don't understand this. Now, 24 hours later, today, I do understand. And this opens, and when you say, I do understand even a little bit, it opens a new world. It's a whole new world. It opens a new world for me to not fall prey to marketing tactics. Yeah. See, I'm a Gen Xer and I was a punk rock adjacent, really. So I have always been very resistant to not having, that's how they get you. That's my phrase. Oh, see, that's how they get you. You know how they're trying to get me to make an impulse purchase? Is by telling me that everybody's doing it. Oh, yeah? Do I have to do everything? I can be a little bit snarky about that. When I make a decision, I want to make sure that I don't feel manipulated into it, that I have made a decision, like Geddy Lee would say, of my own free will, and I feel good about my decision. And I have also made a plan that if it doesn't work out for me, that I'm not going to make a big deal of it. I used to make a big deal and beat myself up about things that didn't work out. Luckily, my husband also helped me kind of talk down the ledge. Okay. So notice, even within 24 hours, Preservation Haven, you have changed your mind about something. Your mind is a flexible place. It is not a fixed place. You can change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your memories, really. Instead of beating yourself up for something, what did I learn from that so I don't repeat it again? Hello, first marriages. Okay. Yeah. I love this. Kathy has taken the next step. 10 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday. I donate all the time, but notice this, but these big ticket items are hard to let go of. So notice that about yourself, that when you consider it a big ticket item, you may need to suss through a little bit more things to get to feeling ready, right? I don't mind getting rid of an itchy sweater or a gewgaw. Yeah, but the pricey stuff has been harder for me in the past. But the great thing is, Kathy, yeah, notice this. Notice when you're slowing down your process and you're noticing, how did this stuff get to my house? You're going back years now. Huh. I bought these all during the dark days of COVID when I was alone. Hadn't thought of this till now. Yeah, this is why I love decluttering life coaching, because what you do is part of your life. Notice when you bought the hot pot years ago, now I'm saying this and I could have my stories wrong, but you're realizing back then I couldn't go out with my friends to have hot pot. Now I can. Things have changed. It's okay for me to let go of this. I understand now why I did that then. Does that still hold true now? Not necessarily. So I can do something different now. So notice about yourself. Even I get tripped up with certain things, sentimental things, things that I spent money on. I know that about myself, so I write that down. Notice about yourself. I have thought in the past the pricey stuff is harder. Prove yourself wrong. Kathy, donate some of that pricey stuff tomorrow, Saturday, or today, and then notice how you feel. And if you did it right, you should feel okay about it. You may even feel better than okay. If it doesn't feel right to do it, that means there's more work to be done. So hold off and do the work until you feel good. And as you said, you're realizing now I feel ready to let it go. How will you feel afterwards? Even go there. I will feel good having let that go. Imagine yourself without this stuff, having taken it out of that closet, put it in your car, driven it to the place, donating it where you feel good, feeling good about it, and coming home, and now you have more place in your closet. Yay. Yeah. There we go. Laura GV is going through her third level of clutter. So the stuff we were talking about with Kathy is usually stored clutter. There's some stories attached to it, but they're a little bit more superficial. Deeper stories are sentimental clutter. And Laura GV is saying, I am done looking through 2 sentimental bins. I am feeling done. I am allowing myself to just look, reminisce, and feel, and not make any decisions. The next time I open the bins, I think I can start to sort things out chronologically. So notice Laura is feeling done with what she was doing, and she's noticing that, and she's pulling back. Kathy is feeling better about what she's doing, so she's moving forward. Notice the consistent is right here. How do I feel about this? Yeah. Preservation Haven is saying, I wasn't aware of ADHD until mid-40s. Yeah, me neither. I'm 51 now and connecting the dots to my impulse buying. I can't change the past, but my future will be better. Notice that wonderful saying. And you actually can change how you think and feel about the past. The things that you look back on, you can say, what did I learn from it? What did I learn from it that's going to help my future and present be better? Yay. Yeah. There we go. Yay. I'm researching and posting while I list. I love it. Garden Girl, I love this. Instead of listing new stuff, I'm posting drafts that I've saved because fear had stopped me. Again, notice the valuable stuff, the fear of wasting money that might come in. I'm researching and posting while I listen. Notice having a supportive environment, being surrounded by encouraging words and feelings is a game changer. This is why I love doing these TikTok lives and YouTube lives. This is why also in the month of February, there are going to be 9 declutter parties where you can do this. And I'm there for you if you need me, but you also can practice listening to yourself and doing the decluttering while there's support there. Okay. And I love that, Garden Girl. I love that. Instead of listing new, I'm posting drafts that I've saved and researching. I love it. Yeah. Preservation Haven is also noticing what are the things. Notice this, please. Okay. Pulling back and noticing how we were saying that when you were born, and who you were raised with, and there are traumatic events that happen in societies or personally and bigger, many of us have a double whammy. Raised by people who grew up in the Depression and getting a sense of that lack in our own personal lives during COVID. Oh my gosh, what if I can't get that thing I need? Getting you into fear and acquisition and hoarding. But part of you is still in that mode, even though it's 5 years later, and the threat of not having it has lessened greatly. There is still a part of you that says, yeah, but what if I need it? I've said this for years. COVID is our Great Depression of the 20s and 30s. It is the time where part of us, a younger version of ourselves, was legitimately fearful for not having toilet paper, legitimately fearful because of not having food, of things to help you survive. Back then, we did something about it. We still have that in us, causing us to do it unless we bring it to the surface and become aware of it. Okay? So, yeah, Preservation Haven got their vitamins out of COVID, and then I realized I didn't use them in the next 5 years. Now I'm tossing them. And I learned from myself, maybe I'm not a good supplement taker, but that's okay because I still am alive. That one persona is giving us an update. I have cleared a paper box of stuff. Going to use a donate box today to take donations today or tomorrow. Awesome, that one persona. Here's a fun thing about what we do here, both on the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives and the declutter parties. Accountability. Friendly, loving, I know you can do this and I know you're going to do this. That one persona. Take a look at the secret page and find out when we do a TikTok live or a YouTube on Monday. Write down, show up at that declutter or the TikTok live or YouTube live and share that I did the thing I promised myself in the comments. Okay? Yeah. And Laura Voorhees, she has stopped and she's saying, I'm pretty proud of myself for what I did today. I have felt scared. Notice the fear stops us and fear gets into procrastination. I have felt scared and procrastinated for a while. So I'm even proud of what I did, which was to just open up and look at that stuff. That is a small step and a big step. The small steps that are big steps are often the ones that have fear involved. But saying, I can open this box, one thing, I don't have to do a thing, but just open the box. Open the box, one step. How do I feel? Do I want to shut the box? That's okay. At least I opened it once. Open the box. How do I feel? I feel like I could take a look at what's in there. Whoa, okay. Can't deal with this today. Noted. But at least I went that far. The next time I open this box, I know what's in it. So I can be better prepared time-wise, physically, emotionally, all that. And I can write down a note. Opened this box on January 30th, 2026. It has stuff in it from this, so that you can decide whether that's the box you want to open up next time. Yeah. Yep. Give yourself grace from the past and that one persona. What helps me donating but it costs so much, as this applies to many people, the money has already been spent and it's not gaining me anything that just hanging in the closet. Better to donate it that somebody can use it. So notice right there, you have a thought that stops you, but it costs so much. That stops you until you change your thought to, the money has already been spent. It's not gaining me anything, just hanging in the closet. I feel better donating it to someone who can use it. That is a replacement better thought that's encouraging you to let go of things that you've spent money on. Yeah. Yep. Natalie, I love it, saying both my daughter and I are ADHD. Visual timers and schedules are so helpful. Me too. That's why actually this helps. I often talk about using a timer, a visual timer, when you're decluttering. When we do the declutter parties, I actually have a giant timer on the screen that shows my face. So you can just notice that the time is going by. So you keep an eye on the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There we go. Preservation Haven. Notice what you're learning about yourself. This is the thing that keeps me coming back to coaching and coming back to decluttering and all this. Learning about yourself, deciding to keep what you like about yourself and declutter what you don't like. Stop beating yourself up for somebody not being a vitamin person. You weren't so notice this. We time travel here too a lot. Here we are in the present. It is 10:51 on Friday, January 30th, 2026, the present. 5 years ago, January of 2021, let's say, you had the thought, these vitamins will make my life better. So you bought them. For whatever reason back then, you didn't take them and you haven't taken them in the last 5 years for whatever undisclosed reason. So right now you're saying hoarding these does not help until I figure out maybe why I didn't take them. But even so, now I notice I did not take them in 5 years, and then I port myself to 5 years in the future. Can I see myself doing that in the future? Not really. Okay, then it does me no good to hang on to something that when I look into the future, I take a clear, loving look at my life and say, yeah, no, it does not make sense for me to keep those vitamins, to keep those plants, to get a pet, to continue to buy things because I don't see that in my future. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're editing your life, as McDoug says, because you're curating. You are deciding what I want and what I don't want, and feeling easier to let go of the stuff that you thought you wanted and it just didn't work out. It's like dating. Not every date ends up in marriage, okay? Everything you buy is not guaranteed to work out for you. Every recipe you try isn't going to be something that you keep in your recipe book to make again. You may one and done it. I tried that. It was okay. Do I want to make it again? Not really. Versus, oh my gosh, that's a keeper. I can imagine myself wanting to make and eat that in the future. Do I want to make it again? No. Do I want to eat it again? Yeah. What can I do differently in the future? Let's find a restaurant that serves that thing that I want. It's all about really learning more about yourself. This is the only thing I will tell you that is getting me coming back to decluttering, because if it was just like items together, Roy G. Biv, all that kind of making it look good would bore me to tears because that's only the surface. And those of us who know that there's something deeper going on underneath and are ready and willing to at least step into the pool, to wade into it and get a little bit deeper, I'm here to guide you through it. Now, I may not be a great swimmer in real life, but man, am I so much more comfortable in the shallow end, in the middle end, and in the deep end than ever before. And I can help you wade through those levels of clutter together. Okay? So that's why I do what I do. And that's why we're here for the next 5 minutes. Hey, Clara, nice to see you. I called this YouTube live Wastefulness. And notice this. Something is not a waste if you learned something from it. If you don't learn about yourself through it, that is a waste. What have you learned about yourself and your current and historical thoughts about wastefulness? Could you change those thoughts even starting today? Take a moment. Take your notebook. Write down your thoughts. Are they even yours? Or are they coming from the mouth of your grandmother or your father or your neighbor or somebody? Everybody's got their own opinion. What's your opinion? Was that a waste or did I learn something from it? Was that a true waste or what did I learn from it? Let me pull a learning out of it so that I don't feel like I wasted that money, opportunity, whatever. Yes. And Preservation Haven, I love that you noticed this because this is paramount in getting your stuff done. I learned I need to write things out and start questioning these thoughts. And one way to do that, get a notebook, Doesn't have to be expensive. Please don't get one that's overly constructed. Make sure that the pages can be torn out. Make sure that there are lines on the pages. Other than that, you don't need a fancy planner. All you need is a book like this. Fold the paper in half. This is important. Preservation happen. Write things out that aren't working for you, but they only take up half the page. I want you to get in the habit of thinking there's another side to this story. On the other hand, and start to construct this story. To use the specific words that you use to stop you, use the opposite of those specific words to get you some comprehension. Yeah. Also asking, is this thought helping or harming me? If it's a helper thought, you put it on this side. If it's a harming thought, you stop harming yourself and then you rewrite that. You take the power out of it and you write a more helpful thought to substitute the next time the unhelpful, harming thought pops up in your head. That you have something to stop and replace, to stop, hammer time, do something different, and replace it with a better thought so that you decrease the strength of the neuro pathway in your brain with the unhelpful thought, and you build a new road with the more helpful thoughts. Yeah. Yep. And going deeper, but also backing up and going to the shallow end. What did I learn in the deep end? What can I do in the shallow end? The shallow end is going to be your surface clutter. I learned about me that I function better and feel better when my surfaces in my home are less cluttered. When I feel better, I do better, and I like to feel better. So what will I do with that information? I will do a putter and declutter for the next 20 minutes and feel better about that and go from there to do more cool things. Okay? Yeah. So Preservation Haven, she says, I love that. Much gratitude. You're welcome. I'm never up at this time except for when you are. It was meant to be that I'm here to learn. What's that saying? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Notice, sometimes that's when I think like the magic of the universe connects things at the right time. I was saying what I've been saying for years now, and you came across it at a time where you were open to hear it and allowing yourself to be like, hey, you know what? This could be helpful. This could help me. Now, this is why one of the reasons why is that I don't always just show up for my one-on-one clients, because I do one-on-one coaching with people, paid coaching. But I also do TikTok lives and YouTube lives, Monday through Friday, different days of the week, different times of the day. Sometimes I do a bunch, other times I'm traveling. It's a mixed bag. But remember, if you want to know when I show up live so you can ask live questions, destinationdecluttered.com is my website. Sign up for the mailing list and you get an access to the page where the schedule is. If I am not scheduled to do a TikTok live when it's convenient to you, the neat thing is that there are hundreds, not to overwhelm you, but just to reassure you that you can listen to and watch a recording of one of these. 976 trombones. Okay, so there's always something here to help you with Destination Decluttered, even if I'm not doing a live. Okay? Yay, Kathy. Thank you. Such great information and motivation today. Those appliances will be gone by tomorrow. Kathy, I encourage you to do even one better. Yes, and get them gone. Notice how it feels and take a look at the schedule for next week's TikTok lives and YouTube lives. Plan to show up and share your wins with us because we'll all be cheering you on doing the thing that you were previously afraid to do. Okay? So notice that even just a little bit of revving up your engine, warming yourself up, feeling good, talking nicely to yourself allows you to do something that for months and years now you may have been afraid to do. Do not dismiss the importance of what we just did here. Use it for good and learn to replicate it even when we're not doing a live, okay? Now, I just realized it's 11 a.m. It's a Friday. I give myself a half a day on Friday, so I'm going to putter and declutter. I will do all the things I said for you. I'm going to check how I feel physically, nervous system. I'm going to write some stuff down. I'm going to get some stuff done, and I'm going to notice how I feel throughout the day and adjust accordingly so that at the end of the day, I feel good about what I did and I feel good about what I didn't do. Okay? You guys rock. Have a good, warm, non-icy and snowy weekend. Okay? And feel free to come on back and hang out again some other time. Okay? TikTok lives and YouTube lives are scheduled. All sorts of good stuff's going on. And Laura Voorhees, I appreciate you too, because you are showing people that you are walking through the journey. And sometimes it's easy, but even when it's not easy, you're noticing it and you're not giving up. All right. Wonderful to meet the new people. And I'll see you guys Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Bye.